All right, so welcome everyone. And I know it's busy times. As Sean was just saying, it's prepping for the new season, deadlines galore, and that's not just for the States, but for all over the place. It tends to be that the whole year is full of deadlines these days, whereas I know in Australia back in the day, it used to be, yeah, maybe one or two a year, but now it's been extended throughout the year. So welcome everyone. We can see we've got Sean from Houston, Vash from Auckland, hot as hell as well, Sean. Really good. Well, it's winter over here, so I do like the heat. I probably prefer it. All right, so let me get into this, and we'll have Q&A at the end. So today's workshop and training module is all about the advisory service portfolio. And I'll explain what I mean by that when I go through my model overview. So as part of it, I'll obviously overview my model, where this fits in, obviously explain what I do as well, because a lot of you have never met me before. I also want to just run through this outline, which is understanding really what your business clients need from yourself or from advisors in general. Um, Share with you the core services to fit this need, and I have those in two different groupings, one-off services and ongoing retainer-based services. We can just have a quick discussion about how to present those to your clients, but then I also want to really drill into how to price those advisory services, and then I'll give you a bit of a sneak peek into my program at the end, and obviously open it up for Q&A as well. All right. So anytime you've got any questions, just pop it into your chat box. As Varsha said, it's 10 degrees in Auckland, New Zealand, very different to where you are, Sean, and I'm a bit in between. All right, so just a very quick background to myself. I started life as an accountant. I spent 15 years in various accounting roles, initially in public practice in chartered accounting, and then I moved into more commercial roles both here and in the UK. But since 2005, I've been running my own business coaching and advisory business. So I left corporate life and moved into this. And over that time, I've helped hundreds of businesses, mainly small businesses. So businesses with between, say, 5 and 50 staff. I really enjoy working with that smaller business. You can obviously work directly with the owners, the managers, and make a big difference quickly. So I've been doing that for a long time. And what I decided to do last year, at the end of last year, is launch Accountant to Advisor. So my traditional business coaching business is called The Profit Coach. And I launched Accountant to Advisor late last year. And what I want to do is really just help accountants and bookkeepers, to develop the same sorts of skills, learn the models that I've used over the years, and how I work with clients to really help your business clients in a far more valuable way. I've always been frustrated, I suppose, that accountants aren't doing more. I suppose that's why there's been a market there for business coaches. But accountants can probably do more, and probably don't realize how easy it is to add more value. You don't have to become a full-on business coach and learn about marketing and sales and team management and all of these different areas. Just the foundations of financial management, planning, goal setting, helping your clients get organized. That's a massive impact that you can make. All right, so that's what I'm doing now, is really, instead of trying to help individual businesses one-on-one, if I can help more accountants and bookkeepers learn these skills, then I can have a greater impact by helping you to develop your businesses, and then obviously help your clients as well. Okay. All right, so that's a bit about myself. So let's jump into the training, and welcome Benjamin as well. Just open up your chat box, Benjamin, and just let us know where you are and what the weather's like where you are as well. All right, so this is my framework that I've developed. And you can see there are 4 key pillars or areas. And I'll just jot them down here. Oops, where are we? I'll just highlight them. We've obviously got here mindset and model. And that's really just getting the foundations in place. It's really learning how to think about advisory, putting your portfolio in place, and understanding how to roll those out with your clients. It's really just getting those foundations in place before you start offering these services. So this is module 2 of the short course that I'm running, the free course. Module 1 was more around mindset, understanding how to think more like an advisor, how to build that confidence, and so on. This is where we are today, developing the advisory service portfolio. And then we're going to shift into the second area, which is around mapping. And this whole area I'm going to cover in the third module. And that's really where we just do a one-off review, and I'll cover that today as part of the portfolio discussion. This is where we just do a one-off review for our clients. We do the analysis, understand what's happening in their business in terms of their team structure, and then map out a plan for them. So set goals and map out a plan. All right. So that is all covered in module 3. And obviously, the training that I'm covering here as part of the free course is a cut down version of what I have in my core program. I might just flick over quickly to that. So this is my portal for my members, and you can see here that the core advisor training is broken up into these 4 areas that I'm going through in my model. And within here we have each of the training sessions. Now this training session here normally runs for 1 hour and 10 minutes. It has a lot of interaction and exercises and so on. But today's session is really just a cut down version of that. So module 3 is about mapping, and then the third area around momentum is really the ongoing retainer-based advisory services. So this is where you would have meetings with your clients either monthly or quarterly, and you basically roll out the plan that you've developed as part of the mapping stage, and work with them on an ongoing basis. Okay, so when I get to module 4, I cover the 7 P's of profit, which is a model that I get my members to roll out with their business clients. Okay, explains how to think about business, what the different levels of business are and the different stages, and how to help your clients develop those foundational skills and processes, and then move them up that ladder. So I won't cover that today, obviously, but that'll be in module 4. And then module 5 of the training session is then how to run these regular meetings. Okay, so as you can see, I can't cover everything in my model in this short training course. And it's really a cut down version, really just to give you some core foundational principles. All right, so if you've got any questions, Vash has had a quick question. What's the duration of each of these? So this should run for about 40 minutes, Varsha. So just letting someone else in. And that includes the Q&A. So I'm going to go through it fairly quickly and then open up for some Q&A at the end. All right, but keep those questions coming if you have any. All right, so just very quickly, this is let's just have a quick chat about where each of your businesses are. So over here in this first stage, businesses are totally compliance focused. Okay. And then in the second stage, you might be offering ad hoc advisory, and I'm talking about business advisory, not tax advisory and so on. And ad hoc advisory is where you obviously offer some advice. There's no structure around it. There's no regular meetings, and you might have some tools you use or some goal setting you do, but there's no ongoing work. 3 is where you are having regular advisory meetings, but they're unstructured. Okay, and what tends to happen from the members that I've worked with that already are doing advisory, these clients fall away. Okay, so you may be having quarterly meetings or monthly meetings with them, but because there's not a lot to talk about apart from the financials, and we know the financials are super important, but a lot of business owners, even though they know they're important, it's just not enough to keep them engaged. And then over here we have systemized and valued advisory. And this is what leads to profitable growth, not just for your own business, but for your clients' businesses. Okay. So just a quick question for each of you. Now we've only got a small group here. Um, where are you in your business? Talking about business advisory, and I'm not sure if everyone does business advisory here, but I think everyone here is obviously accountants or bookkeepers. Where would you say you are uh, on this scale? One, two, three, or four, or a combination, as Benjamin has said, between one and two. Good stuff, Benjamin. Varsha, we have one, two, and three. We want to have more four. Yep, very good. Um, and what I
It's
find is
it
that
depends on the
most,
client. Sorry.
sorry, what was that, Sean?
I said it depends on the client and what the client's needs are, is
Totally,
what I would
totally.
really say.
You're not going to offer high level advisory to a business that doesn't need it. I'm just saying, in general, with your firm, if someone needed advisory, where would it be? So if you can just,
Yeah,
yeah, uh, say
all
one, two,
right.
three, or four.
So some if they needed advisory, it's gonna be either three or four,
Yep. So
but
you've got a fairly
probably
structured process as well around advisory, Sean.
um yeah, I wouldn't say it's terribly strict. But the thing is we do have clients where we give them monthly financials, and then when necessary, we meet with them. I mean, of course, again, it's like what are you really going to talk about every month? It's the
Good
same thing that
question. There you go. So that's and this is where when I cover off the sorts of things we can talk about, um, not every accountant wants to do it. I totally understand, but it is more around goal setting, understand, helping support them month to month,
like a
as a
business coach, basically.
not as a business, but close to, but it's more just a closer partnership relationship, which you charge for. Obviously, it's something which a lot of accountants want to do. They want to be able to add more value, help their clients in a more structured way, and be more of a business partner. Um, you could call it a business coach, but I think that scares away a lot of accountants, and you don't need to become a full-on business coach. But it is about having more regular meetings to check in on them, make sure that they're on track, understanding their financials. I meet with all of my clients every month or every fortnight, but every month to review their numbers, understand what's going on, understand how they're progressing with their plans, make sure that they're on track. Because businesses, as you know, we're all business owners. They're lonely out there. They need support. But anyway, I better move on, Sean. I'll just pop you back on mute. Um, but yes, totally understand that it's this sort of advisory service is not for every accountant and bookkeeper, and it's not for every client, definitely. Um, but it sounds like, Sean, that you'd be probably around about that three, possibly four. All right, good. And welcome to a few others that have joined us. Just pop into your chat box, let us know where you're located and what the weather's like where you are. All right, we better move on. Actually, before I move on, quick question. Wherever you are at the moment, and obviously there's going to be a range of different areas or different levels. What's holding you back from going to the next stage in this range? If you're a one or a two, what's holding you back from getting to a two or a three? And Varsha, if you've got one, two, and three, but let's say you've got some regular threes, what's holding you back from getting to four? Okay, so Benjamin's saying understanding how to structure it to clients will pay, so that clients will pay for it. Yep, it's a very common issue. Um, so just pop it in when you get a chance, and I'll keep going, and I'll come back to some of these issues later on, and it's maybe part of the Q&A. All right, so here are some current client challenges in terms of business issues. Okay, and these are just some of them. Obviously, there's business is challenging, business is difficult for a lot of our clients. So they're busy, but either low or no profit, poor cash flow, pricing pressures, not having enough business, feeling overwhelmed and trapped in their business, possibly rudderless and lack of direction, poor team dynamics, being disorganized, and having inconsistent quality and delivery. Okay. And you probably know that a lot of business owners aren't like us. Accountants and bookkeepers are generally pretty structured and organized, but a lot of them aren't. And they've never been shown how to run a business. They're good at, well, they've jumped into business because they're good at what they do. They're a good tradesperson, or they're a good dentist, or they're good at customer service, but they've never been shown how to run a business. Okay. But you can't help them solve everything. As Sean was alluding to, we don't need to be a full-on business coach. We can help them with these foundational areas, but we can have partners, HR people, marketing experts, yeah, IT technology experts, systems experts who can come in and help complement our foundational offering. Okay, so what do businesses want? So back here was really the challenges they have, but what are the things that they want from us? Okay, I'm just going back to some comments that Vash has made here. So discussion with current clients network, we need to ask all the relevant when we engage with the new clients as well. Okay, so Vash is just sharing to get from, to move to the right of that scale that I shared with you before. It's really just getting better insight into the customer and the client, and probably having a better onboarding process around that. Okay, fair enough. All right, so what do businesses want? Okay, so they want to understand what's causing their challenges. Why aren't they profitable? Or not just profit, it could be other issues. Why aren't they organized? Why isn't their business running smoothly? They want to understand their numbers and the levers to pull to improve the numbers. They want a plan to fix things. They want support and guidance, a sounding board, accountability, which is probably not one that you would automatically think of, but there's so many businesses, most of the businesses that I work with, a lot of them have come from a corporate environment or some other environment where they've worked for others, and they now miss that accountability. It's all on them, and us running our own show as well. It's very similar. We've all worked for others where there's accountability, and so that is something that people need. And then just generally learning how to run a better business. Okay, and as I said, it's not for every one of your clients. A lot of your clients, they will just either they're doing well, or they don't have the right mindset to learn and be open to learning to improve things. Okay. But for the ones that are, then obviously they're looking for more from their accountant. You don't want to risk them moving to someone else because they feel they've outgrown you or they're not getting the right support from you. And on the other side, once you start developing these skills and these services, you'll attract clients that aren't happy with their current accountant, or they've outgrown their current accountant or bookkeeper. All right, so let's just talk about the foundations. What are the core advisory services? So as I alluded to before, there are one-off services that I would recommend that you look at. And so these are the sorts of things you would do in a one-off. So this would be a one-off session or a workshop where you charge for this as a one-off review, and you do this sort of analysis and provide this sort of a service. Okay, so you'll do a historical review of their financials, obviously things like ratios as part of it, break-even calculation. So just some basics around financials. Help them understand what sort of sales they need to hit to achieve break-even, but then potentially the value of quotes they should be doing based on knowing their conversion rates. And a lot of clients and businesses won't be tracking these, but it's just getting them to understand this sort of thinking. Looking at scenario analysis. So this is something, if I share with you, I'll cover it more in module 3. where I've got these tools to help with scenario analysis and forecasting, which are those other 2 points. Reviewing their team and organizational structure. Now, that one is not for everyone. It might take you a little bit of time to develop the confidence and skills to do that. But I do share a simple way to think about organizational structure. Maybe doing a team survey. I've got team survey templates that I use with my members, and then just helping them with a plan. Okay. So you don't have to offer all of those, but I do feel that helping them set goals and a plan is very powerful. So if I might just give you some examples of this. So once again, in my portal, I have all this training. I have all of these templates. So at the end of each of these training sessions and modules, I've got templates that my clients use. So in terms of these one-off reviews, this is an example of a template that my clients have access to. And it's very simple. This is just showing you 3 different levels of a one-off review that you can offer, depending on the size of the business, the complexity of the business, and the sort of pricing that I would charge for that. Okay. And then I will be going through this with either you or whoever attends module 4. But this is my 7 P's of profit model, which is a model that I share with my members for them to share with their business clients to help them explain how a business should work, what the foundational levels are, and how to build on that. Okay. So that's an example of what you could do and package together to provide those one-off services to your clients. And I'll give you a bit of a sneak preview um, into the mapping area, which is going to be covered in the next module, the next training session. So I have a questionnaire process that we go through, help. This is all the training that I provide, but I will be covering it very broadly next training session. How to map out an organization, how to set goals, and in this one of the tools I use is a 1-page planning document with clients. And this is a simple tool. Let's make that a little bit bigger. That all of my SME clients have, and that I encourage my members to have with their clients. It's really just looking at the big picture goals, including 3-year, 12-month goals. But then the important part is this 90-day goals section at the bottom. And I get all of my accounting and bookkeeping members in my own program to have one of these for themselves, because I'm a big believer in congruency. If you're doing these sorts of things in your own business, it becomes so easy to roll it out with your clients. Okay. So based on those long-term goals, what are your goals for the next 90 days? Who in the business is responsible for it? And then how do you want to step that out over the next 3 months? And that's something I do with my own members every 3 or 4 months. We get together and put in place a new plan. Okay. So I'm just showing you some of the tools to make some of my theory or my presentation make a bit more sense. But feel free to ask any questions. All right, so that's the one-off review. It's designed for existing clients. They may not see you as a full-on advisor. They obviously have an existing historical relationship. They may not be able to commit to monthly, quarterly, or regular meetings with you, but most of them, well, a lot of them would be happy to do a one-off review to review their business and pay for that, okay, and help them set goals and so on. Then after that, we have ongoing services. All right, so this is where you would have regular monthly or quarterly meetings with clients. And this is the sort of things that you can cover. Okay, so you'd have monthly or quarterly meetings, either online or face-to-face. You'd obviously review the financials, as Sean said. That's probably the core. Monitor KPIs. So it's not just the financials; it's understanding other key numbers in their business, quote levels, production levels. You don't have to be an expert in that. You just need to help them focus on these KPIs. Discussing wins, achievements, challenges, how they're progressing with their goals, because most of them should have a one-page plan. Set the goals for the coming month and quarter. Checking in between those meetings. So if you're having a quarterly meeting at the 6-week mark, you would check in, check out, check how they're going. So it's a little bit of accountability. And then every quarter, update that planning sheet that I showed you, and then just be there for to support them. This last one is an important one: the regular client get-togethers. You don't have to run workshops or have anything overly formal. You could just get clients together for lunches. Okay, it could be a larger networking lunch, or it could be a small table-based lunch. And once you create a community, once they meet each other, it's amazing how sticky they become and how much they'll tell others. Okay, so there's a whole range of things you can be doing on a regular basis to really add value, help them in their business, and help them succeed in their business. Okay. All right. So how do you present these services? Now, I'm not going to go through this in any detail. Everyone's going to have their own way to present services. So you currently already have something that you use. You could have a practice management tool that you use to offer that to present your services and quotes and proposals and so on. Or you could just have a simple PDF type of document or a web page. Okay. So, so for example, I shared with you this, which is just a simple, well, this is the Word version because it's a editable template that I give to my members. And another one I have, so I keep it simple for myself, but you can take this and put it onto your own platform. Another one, so I've got another one here. So this is a proposal template for an existing client. So you can see here, this one's an ongoing program offer for an existing client. So this is the sort of templates that I provide my members to use and to modify and it's basically designed for an accountant or bookkeeper, not a business coach. Okay. So it explains how you're going to work with them, explains the model, explains the investment. Obviously, this is all for you to review and make your own. Okay. All right. So we want to talk about pricing. So let's get into that. All right. So everyone's going to, everyone has a different value that they place on themselves, say all of you. And everyone has a different hourly rate that they feel uh, that's relevant to them. Now, obviously, I don't want you wouldn't charge hourly rate for this. You would do a fixed price, but at the end of the day, it's going to be based on whatever your personal hourly rate target is. Okay. Um, and you want it to be above your accounting rates. Your accounting rates are, everyone does accounting. And people may specialize in tax. That's a little bit different, Sean. But everyone does accounting, tax, compliance type work, whereas not many people do advisory. So it really needs to be a higher value rate because it adds more value to your client. Okay. And then you'd have different levels for different businesses. Just as I showed you in my one-off services, you'd have different levels and different pricing for different level of service that you want to offer. And those different levels of services will suit different businesses. Okay. All right. So this is a simple template to use. I'm going to share all these slides with you later anyway. But feel free to take screenshots or whatever you want to do. So you obviously set your currently hourly rate. So let's say it's $250, and let's say you want to uplift it by 20%. Okay, so therefore your hourly rate for advisory becomes $300. All right, pretty simple. All right, so it's just an exercise to ensure that you are charging more for these sorts of services than for your base service. Okay, and then it's a simple. So these are some things to think about to develop your price. How much time? Let's just take this area first. How much time is there that you'll spend pre-meeting, the actual client meeting, travel time, post-meeting time to pull the notes together, multiply that by your hourly rate, and that'll be effectively your price. Okay, so it's pretty simple. Now, in my full training and program, we obviously go through this in a bit more detail, and it's amazing. Pricing has become one of the key topics, because it's not just setting the price; it's understanding what you want to include in each of those packages. It's a bit like building a website. If you can explain what you do on a website, it helps you get clarity yourself. And that's the same thing when you're developing your advisory service offering, understanding what you want to include. And I covered some of those things before. Um, Understanding how it's going to work for you, how to structure it for yourself. That clarity is the core of rolling out those services. Okay. And then same with ongoing services. You can see it's the same sort of methodology. Okay, so it's pretty simple the way I think about it. We talk about value-based pricing, and that's really, it sort of comes down to, well, what's someone willing to pay on an hourly rate basis? So it's sort of, you want to disconnect it from your base hourly rate. It'll be more than your normal hourly rate, and that's where that value type of pricing thinking comes in. I've never charged based on how much profit um, uh, I'm helping my clients grow. I've never charged a percentage of profit growth, for example. That would be true value based. It's always been a fixed fee for me, but obviously, depending on the client, I do charge larger clients more, just automatically, even if I'm not spending more time, because I know there's going to be more complexity. Um, they can get more bang for the buck, I suppose. And so there, I sort of build that into my value-based pricing anyway. All right, so let's just summarize that quickly. So this is a bit of homework or the steps that you can take. So first of all, review what your clients need and what you want to help them with, okay? Because everyone's going to be different. Your clients are going to be different. Everyone offering these services will be different. What you're comfortable with, different level of experience that you have, and so on. Obviously, design those services, those levels and inclusions, set price points for those, set these up in your system, whatever that is for you. It could be a practice management system that you use to offer these services or present these services. And feel free, if you want to share those draft packages or thoughts with me, feel free to send those through. Okay. All right. So just quickly, I'm just going to give you a sneak peek of my program for those that might be interested. And this is it here. I'm just going to add this link to the chat just so you've got that. If you want to click on that, not to look at now because but just to have it there, I suppose, for afterwards if you do want to have a look. But this is just, I'm not going to go through it, but this page explains my program, how it works, the fees as well, the cost. So it is normally $150 per week, no upfront investment, no minimum terms. You can have a look at that if you're interested. And it tells you who it's for and what you get and so on. Okay. Now, I'll just flick back over to my presentation. So, as I said, down the bottom there, it's normally $150 a week. But what I'm doing, because I don't really want to chase people, what I've decided to do is every month I'm making 3 spots available at a discounted rate, and that's only $100 per week, and that's locked in for as long as you are part of the program, all right? Regardless of any other future price rises, and I'm still building the program, so I'm keen to just get people in and grow it and build that community. So there's currently about 15 in the program. Obviously, I want to build that up to more, so I'm happy to offer an incentive for people to join. But it is I do only have 3 spots each month available for that. So if you are interested, let me know. So just briefly, it's a group program. We have an initial one-on-one session, so that's all included as well, where I understand your business, understand where you want to head, what your experience is, help you map out a plan, both in terms of what training you need to focus on, but also what are the steps for you to roll out these services. That's where the skills development plan and training comes in. You get access to all of the templates and tools. I'll just very quickly show you those. Now, each of these modules uh, has the tools, but I also have a resource library which has within each of those structured areas a whole range of different tools and module templates as well. There's a community forum. There's weekly live meetings. So every Wednesday, Australian time, Tuesday, US time, we have a live meeting, and you can get one-on-one support when you need it as well. All right. So no big sell today. Just giving you a bit of insight into what I do and the people I work with, and that's it. So that's all I had today. So I might just open it up. I might stop my recording and just stop my share and just open it up to any Q&A.